Welcome to the 700 Club. An American pastor on trial in Iran is now missing. Guards have told his family he's no longer in the prison where he's been held for several months.
Pastor Saeed Abedini hasn't been seen since he appeared at his trial on Monday. Ephraim Graham has the story.
A week of disappointment for the family of Saeed Abedini. Monday, Iranian media said the pastor would be released after posting bail. Then came news bail had been rejected. In a letter Abedini recently managed to sneak out of his prison cell, he spoke of his experience saying, quote, "This is the process in my life today. One day I'm told I'll be freed and allowed to see my kids on Christmas, and the next day I am told I will hang for my faith in Jesus." Abedini is Iranian-born, but he's also a U.S. citizen. He's charged with attempting to undermine the Iranian government through his work starting house churches in the Islamic Republic. He's been jailed in Iran since September. The American Center for Law and Justice is fighting for his release. They say the U.S. government is not doing enough.
We did not see any real action from the State Department until last week, when finally the media's attention on this had shamed them into saying, we're actually concerned about the matter. All they had done before, they said they were aware of it, but they have still fallen short of calling for an American citizen's release.
50 members of the House signed and delivered a letter to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, urging her to bring Abedini home. The National Security Council did issue a statement to CBN News. It said, quote, "We remain concerned about U.S. citizen Saeed Abedini. We call on the Iranian authorities to release Mr. Abedini. The State Department is in close contact with the Abedini family and is actively engaged on this case." Pastor Abedini's wife tells CBN News she and her children worship, pray, and trust in the promises of the Lord.
He's in control. He will bring everything for good and for his glory, which is what we want.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
If you want to help this pastor, the American Center for Law and Justice has drafted a petition urging the U.S. government to put pressure on Iran to free Pastor Abedini. So far, 225,000 people have signed up. You can find the link at cbnnews.com, and I encourage you to call your congressman, call your senator. Let's get congressional action. Let's get Senate pressure on the State Department. We need action on this. The number's on the screen, 202-224-3121. Well, in further news, Americans from around the country and Washington today to speak out in support of the unborn. Lee Webb has that story from the CBN newsroom. Lee?
That's right, Gordon. Tens of thousands of pro-life activists have come together in our nation's capital for the annual March for Life. It's been held every year to mark the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the landmark Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion nationwide. This is the 40th anniversary of that ruling. About 55 million babies have been aborted over that span. Rhode Island's House of Representatives overwhelmingly passed legislation legalizing same-sex marriage in that state. The vote was 55-19. The bill's fate, though, is uncertain in the Rhode Island Senate. Senate President Teresa Pava-Weed opposes same-sex marriage, but has said she will not stop a committee vote. The sides are divided, however, on whether there will be a vote in the full Senate.
We have to be quite honest that to make up the Judiciary Committee, we're pretty confident that this bill won't see the light of day.
Rhode Island is the only state in New England that has not legalized gay marriage. Well, cell phone provider AT&T is issuing a warning to its customers about the flu. Cell phones can spread the flu virus easily. That's because of how often people shake hands, turn doorknobs, and use hand railings before using their phones. AT&T's chief medical officer says people should clean and disinfect their phones regularly, use hand-free headsets, and avoid taking their phones into restrooms. Gordon, back to you.
Let me add another one to that, your remote control. Make sure you're disinfecting that on a regular basis, too, particularly if multiple people have access to it. And particularly if you're in a hospital, that's the place where more likely than not you're going to get an infection.